All right, good afternoon. Welcome into Sports Talk with Hawk. How are we doing today? Appreciate all you yesterday. Understanding, we got the house done. Both coats of paint are on the house. My brother is actually, I just checked on him. My brother is actually doing touch-up work now. And house looks absolutely gorgeous. It does look absolutely gorgeous. The one of the best parts about yesterday is my dad ordered pizza for lunch. And the pizza guy pulls in and gets out. He goes, all right. Looks at it, goes, you guys already know what you guys already done? I go, yeah, it's the first coat, whatever. He goes, oh, man, do you guys do houses? And I'm like, only my dad's house, my friend, only my dad's house. No, although my brother and I had an absolutely amazing system going. We got into a rhythm. We had the music playing. We were getting stuff done. And basically in 4.5 hours, we put 2 coats of paint on a house that looks absolutely fantastic. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me as I went over and helped my dad yesterday. But now we got stuff to talk about. We have got NBA playoffs, and that one is huge. The NBA playoffs. That is last night we had a big game by the Atlanta Hawks and a enormous game by the Minnesota Timberwolves. But we still have a lot of series that are only in game 1 or 2. So, give me just a second here. There it is. So, honestly, I do love currently where everything is at. There are a couple games that were absolutely horrible. And I mean horrible. But I do believe, like the Raptors and Cavaliers series, it's been decent. Evidently, the Raptors don't have excuse me. The Raptors don't have enough firepower to meet up with the Cavs. It's really interesting because I thought they would. Sorry. There it is. Stupid allergies. I really thought they would be able to play with them a little bit better. And the games haven't been horrible, but they've not been the best either. So, let's go to the playoffs here. So, for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors, let's go over the 2-game series first. Cleveland won game number 1, 126 to 113. The Cavaliers then also won game number 2, 115 to 105. Now, the 126, 113, Donovan Mitchell, 32 points. James Harden, 22 points. 4 of the starters were in double figures. For the Raptors, they weren't bad. RJ Barrett, 24 points. Scotty Barnes, 21 points. Sheed, 17. Ingram, 17. Something just doesn't fit. And they got out-rebounded badly. Raptors in game number 1 had 27 rebounds. Cavaliers had 33. Then in game number 2, the Raptors had 42 rebounds, much better rebounding game, and then still lost by 10. They out-rebounded the Cavs by 7 and still lost by 10. You could tell that was a huge focus and still lost. 22 turnovers for the Raptors, only 12 for the Cavaliers. So it just looks like Toronto can't play at that level with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's really what it looks like. Now, I expected the Cavs to win. Who they play, that's going to be a more interesting thing. Now, I told you guys months ago. I did. I told you guys months ago. I said, look out for the Magic. I said, watch out because I believe the Magic match up against better teams. They are just like an NFL or a college team. They play to their opponent. And on Sunday, the Orlando Magic took down the Detroit Pistons 112-101 in the best looking uniforms again. They took down the Pistons. Those black and blue uniforms that are ever so sharp, the Magic come out and they beat the Pistons. Now, their next game is not till Wednesday. So the teams that only had barely 2 days, barely 48 hours after the play-in games, they played on Sunday. But then they have a full rest and don't play till Wednesday. But then they have another 3-day rest because they won't play till Saturday for game number 3. So Orlando is going to be very rested. Very rested. Right now, I do believe, and I said this, and I put it down, and I locked it in, I thought the Magic could beat the Pistons. I felt like after that game against the 76ers, they were going to come out and they were going to finally start playing basketball. And they did. And they did. And they looked really good while doing it. Now, the Boston Celtics got the 76ers. That was bad. That was just bad. 76ers get walloped by 32 points. And really, the 76ers didn't even look like they belonged there. And truthfully, if they didn't beat the Magic, I think the Hornets beat them anyway in the play-in. The reality is, the Sixers do not have the firepower. That series is going to be a sweep. I got Boston sweeping in 4. Period. Boston is going to sweep in 4. Now, the other Eastern Conference matchup, the one that is tied after last night, the Knicks and the Hawks. And I love this because what you're heading towards is an Atlanta versus Boston series. The ratings are going to want the Knicks and Celtics. I understand that. But Atlanta is a team that is ready to play hard. Game number 3 is in Atlanta on Thursday. Game number 4 on Saturday. The game in Atlanta on Thursday, 7 o'clock. Saturday is 6 o'clock. They are now tied 1-1 with the Knicks, going back to Atlanta. The Knicks yesterday, fourth quarter, got outscored by 13 points. Sound familiar? Got outscored by 13 points. They had the lead. They had a comfortable lead heading into the fourth. All 5 starters for the Knicks, double figures. All 5. Anunoby, 14 points. Karl-Anthony Towns, 18 points. Josh Hart, 15. Mikal Bridges, 10. Jalen Brunson, 29. Mitchell Robinson, 6th man off the bench, 13. Miles McBride, Alvarado, and Landry Shamet, 10 minutes, 9 minutes, and 13 minutes, 0 points. The reality is, the way the Hawks can play, CJ McCollum, Dyson Daniels, the way the Hawks can play really, really helps. Last night, McCollum had 32 points. He was 12 of 22 from the field. He was only 3 of 10 from downtown. It was pretty ugly. It was pretty ugly. When it came down to it, they played defense. Dyson Daniels, 2 steals. McCollum, 2 steals. Jalen Johnson with a steal. Kuminga, Tony Bradley, a guy that they just recently signed that was on the Pacers. He was part of that deep run last year with the Pacers to the NBA Finals. The Hawks are a team. Do not sleep on the Hawks. They've got Rizashir, and they got Buddy Hield still sitting on the bench. They have opportunities. And the Hawks, to me, the Hawks and Magic are very dangerous. The 6 and 8 seeds, both of them can play at an outstanding level. An outstanding level. I love where the Hawks are at heading back home. I really do. I absolutely do. Now, we move into the Western Conference. Yes, the Suns also slightly did not look like they belonged after they got smoked by the Thunder by 35 points. In a 119-84 drubbing. But Dillon Brooks, I told you, Dillon Brooks punches Chet in the face. Fans everywhere wished it would have been SGA and that it would have broken his nose. I don't hope that, but I do hope that the games don't end up getting outrageously chippy because excuse me. It's not good. We don't want this series being an injury series. Now, could SGA use a series where he gets roughed up and actually has to play basketball? Yes. Fully true. But I don't think it's really needed. Play tough defense. But just don't hurt anybody. Just don't hurt anybody. All right. So that was the 1-8 matchup. The 2-7 matchup, which I am still excited for. The Portland Trail Blazers and the San Antonio Spurs. That game was a 111-98 game. Do not count out the Portland Trail Blazers. They can play with the Spurs. They absolutely can. Danny Avdija, 30 points on 12 of 21 shooting. Clingan only ended up playing 22 minutes, 4 points, 7 rebounds. Drew Holiday had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists. They can play tough. Really, what kind of happened was they just went cold from 3. Klingon was 0 for 3. Drew Holiday was 1 for 7. Shadian Sharp, 0 of 4 from three-point range. They shot 26% from three-point range. While the San Antonio Spurs shot 45% from three-point range. And there really is the difference in the game. But that's really the difference. 10 turnovers by Portland, 13 by San Antonio. 9 steals for Portland, 6 by San Antonio. The game was outrageously close. And the uniforms are once again the San Antonio Spurs, old school court, David Robinson jersey colors, David Robinson court. I absolutely love it. Fully appreciate going back to the heyday of basketball. The Atlanta Hawks wore the black jerseys. The Magic wore the black jerseys. The Spurs wore the black jerseys with the ice cream colors, I call them. It looked like we were back in 1998 to 2003. It was great. I was watching good basketball again. Playoff basketball is different. Playoff basketball is just different. And it is one of those. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what happens in the playoffs. Game number 2 for the Spurs and Blazers is tonight. 8 o'clock tonight. Portland Trail Blazers try to even the series against the San Antonio Spurs. I fully believe they have the ability to do so. I really do. I fully believe they have the ability to do so. So, I'm excited about this. I really think the Blazers could take this series 6 games. If they take it 6 games, I won't be shocked. I don't know. I think they can take it 7. 6 is my bet. 7 is my hope. Because I do. I love what the Trailblazers have working. They had guys out for almost the entire year, came back at the end of the year, and they started winning. But they still haven't really been with everybody. The team still hasn't fully formed around what their identity is going to be. I hope it's going to go to at least 6. I've got the Spurs winning in 6, but I think it's going to be a very good series. And we're going to look at next year as a year if Portland tweaks the lineup a little bit, makes a move, makes a trade, something like that. We're going to look at them next year as they're a threat. They're a threat. They could knock off the Timberwolves in that division. They could fight with the Nuggets. And I do. I believe that's going to be the case because I'm not so sure what the Nuggets are going to be next year. So let's go to that series, which now has 2 games into it. The Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last night was not a good look for the Nuggets. It really wasn't. In the first quarter alone, if I remember correctly, Denver was up. Let me check. Here we go. First quarter. If I remember correctly, they were up by a lot. Let me see here. So, the score was 11-9. No, 11-7. Sorry, 11-7. And at that point in time, it had flipped around to 24-11. It was 11-7 Minnesota. And they stayed completely cold until being down after letting up 17 straight points, 24-11. Then they score their first point on a free throw. They were down 28-13. Then they were down 32-18. They got outscored 39-25 in the first quarter. It was ugly. It was ugly. They were down 37-21. That was the biggest deficit that they had, the Minnesota Timberwolves had in that first quarter. Well, good thing for them is the Nuggets decided to let them back in the matchup so they could be tied at halftime. The second quarter completely flipped. Minnesota scores 39 and Denver only scores 25. The third quarter, Denver slightly wins the third quarter. And then Minnesota easily wins the fourth quarter. And they win the game last night, evening the series with Denver, 119-114. Now, this series is for whoever plays the winner of San Antonio and Portland. Okay? I have no qualms or wishes in this series except that it goes 7 games. I believe this series will be this type of game the entire way through. Denver won game number 1, 116-105. Timberwolves win game number 2, 119-114. Heading back to Minnesota. I fully believe this is a 7-game series. After last night, at their best, Minnesota is better than Denver. Denver is getting older. They are very Jamal Murray and very, very Nikola Jokic dependent. Nikola had 24 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. On game 1, he had a triple-double. So when you are that dependent on 1 or 2 players, it's hard. It really is hard. And give Ant credit. I mean, Ant had a double-double last night. 30 points, 10 rebounds. And to me, this game, this matchup is outrageously even. Outrageously even. I love it. I really do. I love this matchup. The Timberwolves have really let me down in the second half of the year. Kind of like the Magic have. But I think the Timberwolves can do it. The way they can play defense. Now, both teams fully healthy. I think the Timberwolves can do it. Last night was huge for them. I believe that because of last night, they have a legitimate opportunity to take game number 3, flip the series back in their favor. I've got Minnesota winning. I think Minnesota beats Denver in this series. That's what I think. So game number 3 will be Thursday in Minnesota at 9:30. All right. The series that's going to be the worst series there is. Oh, this is going to be bad. The Los Angeles Lakers and Houston Rockets. Doncic and Reeves are out for the Lakers, and Kevin Durant is out for the Rockets. So, none of the stars are playing. It's only LaFlop. It's only LaFlop James that's playing right now. None of the stars are playing. Game number 1 was 107-98, won by the Lakers. It was ugly. Oh, it was ugly. Sengun had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists on 6 of 19 shooting. Reed Shepherd was absolutely ice cold. He was 5 of 14 from three-point range, 17 points. The Rockets shot 38% from the field, 33% from three-point range. The Lakers shot 61% from the field, 53% from three-point range, and still only won by 9. They still only won by 9. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But it does look like Durant is going to be out tonight so far. He is called as a game time decision. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. So, all in all, the NBA playoffs to this point, you've got your close games somewhat, and you've really got your blowouts. But I do believe the matchups work in the majority. Sixers and Celtics, sweet. Thunder and Suns, if game one was any indication, that's going to be a sweep. I don't think there's another sweep. The Raptors are going to beat the Cavs. The Magic already beat the Pistons. The Hawks already beat the Knicks. The Blazers can beat the Spurs. Timberwolves and Nuggets are already, knotted up. And the Rockets, once they get Kevin Durant back, are going to beat the Lakers. So there's only, in my opinion, 2 sweeping series. If the Raptors get swept by the Cavs, I could see a coaching change happening. And speaking of coaching changes, Billy Donovan has stepped down from the Chicago Bulls. Now, I don't know why. It's clear they're moving in a different direction. I would love to know who's going to be brought in. And I really want to know, where does Billy Donovan go? Does Billy Donovan now get hired by the Milwaukee Bucks? I don't think that'd be a bad option. For a young team, I don't think it'd be a bad option. A lot of other organizations haven't made any moves on their coaches yet. Haven't heard anything, haven't seen anything. Nothing has really happened to this point. So, with that being said, I don't know what coaching changes are going to be actually happening. With so much tanking this year, how can you get a good feel for what the team actually is? Like the Kings, they're not firing Doug Christie because none of the roster that they originally set up played together. That makes sense. The Bulls wanted to keep Donovan. He decided no. He decided, get out on my own terms. The owner endorses me, but get out on my own terms. They're starting fresh. Let them start fresh. And I agree with it. I do agree with it. I do not think the cupboard is bare in Chicago. They've got young players that can play. So, we'll see who takes over the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. And then the other one right now, the Milwaukee Bucks. All right. So, we got to talk about something. My mock draft, which is now going to be Thursday. I'm going to put out my mock draft. Now, originally it was going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to go over some more of the stuff that I'm looking at, seeing. I may do part of my mock draft tomorrow. Maybe the bottom 12. But Thursday, I'm going to do the top 20. I will tell you right now, at pick number 5, barring a trade, the New York Giants are taking Jeremiah Love. Now, you may be saying, hold it. Hawk, you've been saying all offseason that this would be the wrong move. That is correct. That was until the Giants then got the number 10 overall pick from the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a wild trade. Nobody else is giving up a first-round pick for Lawrence. A defensive tackle. Very good defensive tackle. Very, very good. And nobody's giving up a first. Except the Bungles. Oh, gosh. I am really happy for the Giants. Because at pick number 10, they have a lot of options now. 2 picks in the top 10. You can't complain about that. It's fantastic. It looks really, really good. I mean, I love it. I love it. And now when you look at the draft, so we still have sleeper quarterbacks and running backs to go through today. The problem is we all know there's not many quarterbacks that we're waiting on. Okay? We all know that. But I am going to give you a couple. I'm going to give you a couple. Because I want to do them justice because of how everything ended up playing out for him. So, a guy that I am really, really excited about. I still hold to, and I'm only going to give you 3. I still hold to Drew Aller being a very good potential backup / fill-in starter. I do. I do. I think Drew Aller, if he can come back from the injury, he is my favorite sleeper quarterback. The only other guy that potentially, Nussmeier may be a 3rd-round pick. Maybe. Ty Simpson should be a 2nd. Spoiler, I've got the Steelers picking him. They have no plan at quarterback right now. I don't know what in the world they're doing. The only reason, like I said, that I would think that Ty Simpson is actually going to go sit at the draft is because the Steelers said, we will draft you. Because, he's got a very mid-level grade. He is rated as 2nd round solidly. He should not be in the top. He shouldn't be in the top 20 picks. He just shouldn't be. But we'll see. Drew Aller, I like him as a 4th round, 3rd round, 4th round quarterback. He's 6'5". You get him in a location that's got a good quarterback coach. Drew Aller to the Rams is a very intriguing move. Jimmy Garoppolo is considering retirement. Drew Aller to the Rams to back up Stafford wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be bad at all. Now, another guy that I'm watching is Luke Altmaier. I watched him play at Illinois, and every year he got better. Every single year. I think Luke Altmaier, when one of those late draft picks, potentially by the Indianapolis Colts, because Lord knows we don't have our quarterback for, we don't have our backup quarterback for day number 1 right now. I would love to see Luke Altmaier grow into somebody. He's really smart. To me, he is a future offensive coordinator. He exhibits the thought process and the ability that is needed for the backup position. It really is. He's just, the way that he plays is very impressive. Now, the third quarterback that I am waiting on, that I want to see what happens. To me, Diego Pavia is a very interesting prospect. Diego Pavia, he's only a sleeper for one reason. Because he's got a lot of attitude. He's got a lot of moxie. And I do wonder who is going to be willing to take a chance on him. Now, Joe Fagano, the quarterback from UConn, that none of you know about, he is your prototypical pocket passer. And to me, he's not really a sleeper because teams are getting so far away from that pocket passer. But to me, 15 years ago, he would be a very intriguing prospect. Very intriguing. So, although the quarterback position isn't necessarily deep, it is pretty well, it's set up with backups. And honestly, who I believe will be offensive coordinators in the future. All right, but let's get to the running backs. My 5 running back sleepers in this year's draft. I love that I finally get to say a Navy running back. Eli Heinrich. I do believe he is going to get drafted by a team. He will end up being a special teamer. He will end up being the third running back, third string running back. He is going to be used out of the backfield. Eli Heinrich is absolutely my number 5 sleeper at running back. I think because of how some of these teams operate, like this is a Patriot type move. The Patriots notoriously have just brought in smart players. This is a Chargers move. Smart players. I love what Heinrich can do. I really do. He played very well at Navy. He was primarily the wing back in the Navy, so the option back. They ran more passing routes this past year. His route tree isn't extravagant, decent. You can add those in. That's not a big deal. But at number 5, the Navy running back, 6 foot, 200-pound running back, Eli. Now at number 4, we're going to go to Penn State. Katron Allen is a sleeper, in my opinion. For some reason, he kept dropping down, and he's dropped way down to potentially the 5th round. And I do not understand it. Katron Allen, 5'11", 216 pounds. If they're worried about his speed, then any team that needs a bruiser is going to want him. Any team that's got a bruiser for the lead back is going to want a guy like Katron Allen. To me, the Panthers are in a very interesting position. They got Jonathan Brooks. They got Trevor Etienne to back up Chuba Hubbard. Honestly, in my opinion, the Panthers could use Katron Allen right now. I really believe the Panthers could use Katron Allen. The Cowboys, in my opinion, could use Katron Allen. Javonte Williams, if he's able to stay healthy, was decent. Kind of shocked everybody that they learned how to run the ball last year again. But you're looking for a guy who can just pick up the yards in chunks. And I do believe Katron Allen can be that guy. So my number 4 sleeper from Penn State is Katron Allen. My number 3 sleeper. Now this is gonna be a little bit of a drop. Because part of me thinks this player is gonna end up a free agent. But Rashul Faison, the 5'11", 200-pound running back from South Carolina. He, to me, I believe he actually has a lot more potential than what you see on tape in South Carolina. South Carolina with Lenoris Sellers has been a different type of offense. I believe if Faison is drafted in the 6th round, 7th round, number 1, he's going to make the team as a special teamer. That's number 1. Number 2, I believe he can move into the 2nd running back position on a team and just be consistent. I do like some of the traits that he exhibits. He is a sturdy back. And he's decent out of the backfield, catching the ball. For a 5'11", 210 running back, he's decent out of the backfield. So I don't know if he's going to get drafted, but I do believe that he will be on a team and does have some very high potential. Now, one of my favorite guys is Jonah Coleman from Washington. He is small. 5'8". 5'8". I mean, small. 220 pounds. But he is so quick. He is very good on just getting to it. Sometimes he doesn't read the hole perfectly, which one to go to. Sometimes he struggles with that. But he's just so strong. He is just so strong. I believe a guy like him, he only had 3 fumbles in 4 years at Washington. 3 fumbles in 4 years. Less than a fumble a year. Ball security is huge. I could also see him potentially playing more of the H-back, old-fashioned fullback position for a team that just wants the extra blocker. Some teams are using tight ends, but they're finding out tight ends aren't nimble enough. That's why you've got Alec Ingold, Reggie Gilliam, both of them highly sought out as fullbacks because it's different. They're running backs. They're not tight ends. They're running backs. The tight end from the Indiana Hoosiers, Narowski, he could be a fullback. He's a fullback tight end combination. He could easily be a fullback. Jonah Coleman, to me, he fits. He really does fit. And his size, his strength, his power, great hands out of the backfield, ball security, blocks well in pass protection. To me, Jonah Coleman is a really good pick in the 5th round. To me, he is a very good pick in the 5th round. In fact, here's another one that I wouldn't have a problem if the Colts drafted to back up Taylor. Because right now we don't have anybody that can run hard the way that Taylor can run. So I would take Jonah Coleman. I absolutely would. All right, and my number one sleeper, who is just outside of the top 5. If you guys think I'm slightly cheating, you may be right. You may be right. But I love Desmond Claiborne from Wake Forest. Oh my gosh, 4.37 speed. He can plant his foot. When he plants his foot, I think the earth moves underneath his foot, not him. Because when he plants, he can cut amazingly well. And I really do love what Claiborne brings out of the backfield. I love just his niftiness, his agility. It looks so good. So good. I do believe he can be a return man. 5'8", 190 pounds. He beats defenders to the edge. If you've got outside zone runs, he can beat the defenders to the corner. He's got decent vision. This is a guy who's not probably going to start, but with an injury, and I'll tell you who could really benefit from this guy. I think the Bengals getting him as a backup to Chase Brown would actually be a very, very good idea for the Cincinnati Bengals. Relatively similar in the way that they play. I love what Desmond Claiborne can bring. I love how he plays. He comes from Wake Forest. You're not watching Wake Forest a lot. It's okay. I love what Claiborne can bring. So, my 5 running backs, Eli Heidenreich from Navy, Katron Allen from Penn State. Then we got Rashul Faison from South Carolina, Jonah Coleman from Washington, and Desmond Claiborne from Wake Forest. Tell you what, it's Tuesday. Little over 48 hours away from the NFL draft. We'll be live again tomorrow. We're going to do picks 32. I don't expect to get these right. Picks 32 to 21 tomorrow. Go over a couple more things. It's our normal Wednesday podcast. Look at some baseball. Look at some hockey as, playoffs are coming in for hockey as well. And then on Thursday, it'll be a shorter podcast where I just give you the mock draft 1 through 20. And then Friday will be reaction to round number 1 of the NFL draft. So you're actually going to get 4 podcasts this week. Yesterday being the off day because of helping my dad paint. And it was a good day. It really was. It was a good day. So we will go over all that tomorrow. How many more trades are we going to see before draft day? Who knows? We'll have to find out. But I do love where everything is at right now. All right, guys. As always, appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share the podcast with a friend. I do deeply appreciate it ever so much. As you can tell, it is sunny outside. It's back up to 72 degrees. I'm going to go outside. It's windy, but I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go enjoy the weather. Hopefully you guys can do the same. Make it the best Tuesday that you can. And by golly, have a great and fantastic evening. Until tomorrow, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. See you tomorrow, guys.